Hi guys, this is Malph, and today we're going to talk about enchanting. Standing here in the enchanting trainer area, and this little Barbie doll right here, uh, Quinny, she is the one that's going to teach you Zandalari enchanting. Now, a little bit about enchanting. I've been doing enchanting since I started playing in vanilla, and enchanting has been one of the most powerful, profitable professions this game has ever seen, bar none. You can argue that when jewel crafting came out in Crusade, okay, I can see your point. Alchemy to a degree, but enchanting was the bomb. That was the way to go. So back in vanilla and all the way up through, enchanting was it. You could enchant all kinds of stuff. Let's take a look here. Okay, so we'll go all the way back down to vanilla. Now, you could make these different oils to put on weapons. You could make magic wands, which were very important in vanilla. And if you're playing classic, you know this. In vanilla, when you were leveling up, and I was leveling up Alliance, so in Elwyn Forest, what I would do is I'd send a pet on it, either the Imp or the Voidwalker at level 10, and then I would cast Corruption and then wand it down, because Corruption was all you had. So, and Priest used wand. So this was very important back in vanilla. And other types of wands dropped out in the world had Holy, Shadow, Fire, Frost, etc. But enchanters could make these, and I believe these are arcane. I think they're arcane. But there were so many different mats. I mean, you had these little mats and stuff like that. It came from all over the place. And you could enchant shields. You could enchant. I just want to take a look at the gear you could enchant. You could enchant weapons. And let me tell you something. Someone who got an enchant in vanilla felt special. I don't care if they were a twink or not. When you got an enchant in vanilla, it made you feel special. So let's just take a look at healing power. If you're a priest, it adds 28 healing power to a melee weapon. If you're a paladin, that is awesome. And it was on all the time. All the time. And then later on, they put a restriction on it. You can't go above an item level that's more than 138. Okay, but that's awesome. I mean, it was on all the time, and it really made a difference. And not only that, but these enchants made your weapons look cool. They put a glow on them. Fiery had a nice red glow. Crusader had a mild yellowish glow to it. Agility had a green glow on the weapon that was kind of misty and swirly. So it looked really tight. So you could do all these enchants. And here's the thing. They were always on. They were never off. Okay? And so it was worth it. Gloves. Look at this. You had fire power, which would increase your spell power. You had frost power. You had greater agility. I mean, this is great stuff. Minor haste, that was important. Writing skill. I mean, enchant to increase mount speed by 2%. Back in your classic, that's going to be important. That's a big deal. And then you had cloak defense. This was like a must-have for any warrior. I know it's only 3, but you have to consider the time, okay? 3 was big. An increase of anything like 1%, or whatever, was a big deal back then, all right? So it could make the difference between wiping or not. Chest enchants. So we've got shields, gloves, chests, weapons, bracers and boots. And then you could make enchanted leather with which leather workers used in a few patterns, not a lot, just a few. Enchanted thorium bar, which engineers and blacksmiths used in a few patterns, not a lot. But it was there, okay? Tone of Illusions, that came later. That came in Legion, all right? The enchanting copper rod, the runed copper rod, this required cooperation in the community because you needed a blacksmith to make this, so you could make this, and you couldn't disenchant a thing without this. And then, on through the time, it went up, and you ended up with fancier and fancier. I remember breaking my back to try and get these enchanting rods made back in the day. So, but as we approach through Janor and all the way up through into Legion, and then into this expansion, the magic is gone. It's not the same. You're very limited as to what you can actually enchant, and most of it is just quality of life stuff. So let's take a look at where it's at right now. I do not have maximum enchanting. I don't because the mats are hard to come by. They're not exactly easy, and I'm not going to spend a bazillion gold in the auction house to buy these void crystals. So let's take a look at what we have here. I'll get there when I get there. Let's start with the disenchanting rod for the followers. This is something actually you need because you need more mats. So what this does is you put it on your follower and it has a chance to come back. I don't know what the chance percentage is, but it has a chance to come back with enchanting dust, which is your gloom dust from successful missions. Okay. I don't think you're going to come back with veiled crystals, but gloom dust is good because it's like your base thing for enchanting. All right. So, and look, they've added Starwood back, you to use in different things, but you need 40 gloom dust, and you need how many veiled crystals? I can't see that. Oh, 5 veiled crystals. That's a lot. You know what that is? That's 5. Let's talk about the mats for a minute. Veiled crystals only come from epic drops. So if you make an epic and disenchant it, you're going to get 1 veiled crystal. When you do your emissary quests and whatnot and all that Azurite gear that drops and all that stuff, it's not like it drops like rain. So you might get 3 or 4 pieces every 2 or 3 days, and you just disenchant it to get your veiled crystal because that's basically all it's used for. The other thing is, too, as an enchanter and this level, you got this, but then you got this. Now, Expulsum comes out of blues and purples that you put in the scrapper, which is next to this place right here. You have to choose between disenchanting to get that or scrapping it to get that. With a chance, let me rephrase that. You have a chance to get that. It's not always going to come. So, and you can see my various characters, they have lots of it because they're not enchanters. They don't have to choose, okay? But I am an enchanter, and I have to choose between this and this. And then, as you probably know from my tailoring, how I feel about this. This is pure, unadulterated, unwashed, heathenistic bullshit. In order to get that, I have to run a mythic. I have 5 followers. That's 5 mythics. To get 1 Hydra core to make this. To go on my followers for a chance of getting gloom dust. Useful, but not worth it. Not worth it. It's not worth the effort. It's not worth the aggravation. Not to mention the fact that I still need 25 more of these, to make 1 of these for a chance that it might maybe on a good day, if the sun is shining and the wind is blowing out of the north, possibly give me some dust. It's not a definite thing. So, yeah. These wands are okay for leveling up. I haven't sold one. I've never sold one in the auction house. This armor honorable combatant stuff, you could go stick that where the sun don't shine. If I were to make that with enchanting and use the mats, I would just disenchant it to get some mats. But you're talking 12 shards. The umbral shards come off of blues, by the way. Everything else gives you dust. The greens give you dust. So on my other characters, what I do is I'll make a bunch of crap, send it to Malph. He'll disenchant it, get a pile of dust, and the same thing with my tailoring on Malph. I'll make a bunch of crap and disenchant it to get those mats. Not a big demand for enchanting either. I'll explain that in a little bit. This is your upper level wand. No, it's not worth it. Okay. Uh, this is neat stuff. Put on your it's quality of life. It doesn't enhance like back in the day. It enhanced your strength. It enhanced your defense. It enhanced your dodge. Not now. All it does is increase the speed of your hearth. It puts a bubble around you in your hearth, and you know. So this one decreases the cooldown of your hearthstone. This one puts a bubble on you. This one it makes it go faster. You know, not exactly cheap because it involves a shard, but it's not exactly expensive either. Weapon enchants. Don't be fooled, folks. Let's read this. It permanently enchants a weapon to proc an aura, which increases your elemental spell damage by 10%. Greatly reduced materials because I'm at level 3. That's good for one class, Elemental Shaman. And you're talking about a very niche market. And the way they have broken shamans, they claim they're going to fix it, but as it is right now, elemental shamans are broke as hell, and nobody's playing them. So, yeah. Good luck selling that. Because the objective of the professions is to sell, to support your account, to support your alts, to enhance your gameplay and whatnot. Siphoning, enchant a weapon to increase your leech. Didn't know I had leech. But again, by 7. Compare that to what I did before with the greater healing, the 28. You see what I'm saying? It's nominal. It's really nominal. And these are lower level. I know they're orange, but they're orange because I have 3 stars on them. Okay, and they all involve umbral shards, and they all involve veiled crystals. So Gale Force, enchant a weapon to proc an aura. And therein lies the rub. This one, proc an aura. This one, proc an aura. Okay? Now that one, it's always on. This is not always on. This is not always on. This is not always on. So sometimes called a wielder's helpful spells to put a short heal over time effect on the target. They're not always on. Not to mention the fact that, my weapon's enchanted with navigation, and you see any glow? You see any sparkly? You see anything flashy? Something that says, hey, look, I've got this thing tricked out. No. Yeah, you can go to Transmog, get that from Transmog. That's not the point. If you're buying an enchant, you're spending an awful lot of gold. You expect something sparkly, something shiny, something unique, something that says, wow, look at this. And no. And it sometimes procs. Once every 100 mobs? Once every 10 mobs? You don't know. You have no control over this. It's not always on. So, what's the point? Maybe in a raid at exactly the right time when you pull the boss during, of course, the exact portion of the fight when you need it, it might proc. And you might win the lottery. And lightning might strike twice in the same place. Who knows? Elvis may still be alive. I mean, God, come on. Seriously. The proc rate on these things is so freaking low, you have a better chance of winning the super lottery. I kid you not. So, go play. These are higher enchants. They give more. But not much more. I mean, look, there's Stalwart. That's for a tank. Stalwart and aggravation. Enchanted weapons sometimes increase armor by 50. Raiders are going to use these. They're going to buy these because that's all that's out there. But I wouldn't count on it. The way this stuff's... some your mileage may vary. Some people may go into and get this, and it's on all the time. It just procs out all over the place, and other people will never see it. Um, these are for rings. Uh, kudos, actually, kudos to Blizzard because they made this enchantable. You could sell it. It used to be, and this started. God, I forget when exactly ring enchant started, but when it first started, it was for the enchanter only. And people were like, "Why? We could sell this. We could make money." So, and these are always on. That's pretty good. 27 at the higher level. It's 30. What is that? 37. So it goes from 27 to 37. Not bad. You know. And these are good secondary stats: crit strike, haste, mastery. Um, but I'm here to tell you guys, they don't sell. I'll show you in a minute. And then you have your crafting enchantments on your gloves. The one that's not here that I'd like to see here is fishing. Um, Shorten your fishing time because you have to catch so many fish. Watch my cooking video. Um, but crafting, it just reduces the amount of time that you use doing that. Food you don't need for cooking because you have your toy hat. Then you can cook at lightning speed. But this is all useful stuff, especially if you're in a mob heavy environment. Being able to mine that thing just a second faster could make the difference, between able to get the node and get out of there, or having to fight for your life. Because we all know how, with some of this stuff, it is guarded like it's the most precious thing in the universe. And I'm sad to say that's it for enchanting in this expansion. That's what you got. That's it. What have I not learned yet? Nothing on this expansion. Legion, I really don't give a rat's ass about Legion. Cataclysm, I don't care. If you're on a twink and you want some enchants, you look for an older guy like me that's got the vanilla enchants, and if let's say you're running a level 35 twink, that's some good stuff. But this, whatever, meh. And as far as selling this stuff goes, you're better off selling mats because I made all these and put them in the auction house. These are all ring enchants, okay? And you would think, hey, Ace is going to sell. I put it up there 3 times. None of this sold. So I'm holding on to them in my bags. None of it sold. It's ridiculous. So, and the way the professions work, generally speaking, is 25, 50, 75, 125, and then 150. So you learn new spells at the 25s, so to speak, every quarter. All right. So that's enchanting. It's a damn shame. Just a damn shame what has happened to this profession over the course of time. It's been slow, but it's been steady, and you have a steady decline in what you're able to do. God, it just bothers me. I have an expensive enchant on this staff, and it's not glowing. Yeah, I could go to a transmog. Why? I'm an enchanter. I should have that. Everybody that gets an enchant on a weapon, it should have some effect. Yeah, you could turn it off. You can go to a transmog and turn it off if you want to, but I think it should have an effect. The fact that I'm carrying around a lamppost for and this is not the first time that they've done this, so don't fault me for criticizing the darn staff. But it's not a staff; that's a lamp. All right. So what could enchanters do at Heels versus Babyface's player housing idea? Well, you glow stuff, so maybe lighting, maybe enhancements on the house, something sparkly. Enchanters can make different stuff. You have enchanted lanterns that float around your yard. God, just use your imagination. Think about all the different things that you could use enchanting for in a house. Let's say I'll give you an extreme example. If I had player housing and I were able to go into some of these older dungeons like Stratham or Scholomance and find a pattern for a chandelier, an enchanted chandelier that I could put in my player house that had enchanted lights. We're coming up on Christmas time and the holiday season. Think about enchanters being able to put dancing lights around your house to decorate it for the holidays. So, I mean, yeah, those are things that enchanters could make and sell using the player housing system that, as proposed, which I think is a fantabulous idea. It just it boggles the mind as to what you could do. But enchanting's in a sad state, and Blizzard should be ashamed of themselves. Players want enchanting to enhance their strength, agility, intellect, spell power, and I should be able to enchant everything I could enchant in vanilla from, not necessarily the rings, although I would like to see that, rings and necklaces, but shields, boots, gloves, stuff like that. Also, with enchanting, there's no enchant to stop you from getting dismounted. Um, that's tailoring and leatherworking only. So there's that. But you used to be able to enchant cloaks. You can enchant gloves. You can enchant everything except for helmets and pants and shoulder pads. You can enchant everything except those three things. And that's the way it should be. And they should be worthwhile. And especially on a weapon. I hate to belabor the point, but on a weapon, a player that gets an enchant on a weapon should have some kind of effect to it. So that's all I got to say about enchanting. It's in a sad state. I'll get it up to 150 when I get it up there, but at this point, it's really not worth it, So I'll get there when I get there. Until later, you guys be good to each other and have a great day. Bye.